Welcome to the Property Profits Real Estate Podcast, the show where real estate investors talk strategy, capital, deals, and growth with your host, Dave Dubeau.
Hey gang, welcome back. Today, my special guest zooming in from Dallas-Fort Worth, Brandon Wong, is not only a real estate investor, but he helps capital raisers, syndicators, fund managers stay in touch and keep top of mind with their investors. So Brandon founded a software as a service company called Smart Syndicator a number of years ago, and we have a couple of mutual clients. So that's why I wanted to get Brandon on the call here today, because I've heard great things about him. I know that his stuff definitely works, and I think that having a conversation about follow-up and staying top of mind is going to be super valuable for you. So Brandon, welcome to the show. Great to have you.
Thanks, Dave. Appreciate it.
Awesome, my friend. All right, so give us just a quick Coles Notes version of the backstory and why and how you decided to get this whole Smart Syndicator thing going.
Yeah, it actually started back, I was on deployment with the Marines. I was in Iraq, and I read a book that I'd imagine a lot of your listeners have read. It's called Rich Dad, Poor Dad. And it really lit a fire under me to become an entrepreneur, to get into real estate investing and that sort of thing. So when I got back and I got out of the Marines, I jumped in with both feet and found a partner. We put some money together, did our first deal, lost a bunch of money on our first deal. So that was a fun experience.
Was it single family, multifamily? What was the first
It was a
deal?
condo. It was like a condo we bought at the foreclosure auction in Las Vegas. But yeah, it was a great learning experience, and I learned more on that first deal than I did in any of the books that I read, any things I listened to.
When you put some money in the deal, then you learn real fast. Typically,
it's tuition. I just write it off as tuition. And so, fast forward, I got into note investing, did some non-performing notes in a number of different states, and fast forward again, got into multifamily, started investing passively, and then became a general partner in two different deals. So that's the short version of my real estate journey.
Side of things.
So the Smart Syndicator came as a result of my first capital raise. I had struggled because I was like, what do I do? I started calling down the list on my phone. It was very inefficient. I was answering
probably not a lot of fun either. Cold calling is never
much. Dude, that's not my personality type. I'm not built for cold calling. And so I'd get on the call, people wouldn't really know what the call was about, so it was awkward. I was answering the same questions over and over, and it was very inefficient.
Yeah.
So I had some experience running an agency. I had a real estate marketing agency at the time, and so I was like, I'm very familiar with Go High Level. I'm very familiar with the technology, the approach, the systems. And so I decided to build a version of on top of Go High Level for raising capital. Okay. And so I piloted this on my first deal and raised, I want to say 700,000, 650,000, somewhere in that range on my first deal. And I was like, wow, this works. So I validated the product on myself. Mm-hmm. And then, I've since helped dozens of people with their capital raises as well.
Nice.
And you had mentioned we have a mutual partner, a mutual client. Mm-hmm. And Nick, he's raised over 5 million. And I'd imagine that's a combination of something you do and something I do,
Yeah. Well, I mean, the follow-up is so huge. So you went from that painful, and I know that feeling. I've done that, dialing for dollars, and when you're desperately trying to raise money for a deal, and people could just smell the desperation coming through the phone, and it's like, I remember one guy said, "Dave, I haven't heard from you in 18 years, and now you're hitting me up for money for a deal." Yeah. Buzz off. I actually didn't say that; it was worse, but that sucks. Nothing sucks worse than that. So you had the experience with Go High Level. For folks that aren't familiar with that, it's a customer relationship management system and so much more on steroids. It's like an all-in-one kind of thing for managing relationships, building websites and funnels and lead magnets and all sorts of different things. So you had experience with that. So what was the big hinge between dialing for dollars, cold calling people, and what you initially set up in Go High Level. Like, what did you automate through that made things work so much better for you personally initially?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the biggest piece was sending information the right way at the right time. Like what came of that, there were a lot of questions being asked and a lot of the same questions repeating over and over and over. And so what I decided to do was to preempt those questions with the answers in the text message prior. So a big part of it is the text messaging. That's probably 80% of the heavy lifting for the capital raise. And so, I develop a list of investors that I have a relationship with, and then I would send a text blast. Hey, would you have any interest in being involved in this? Very simple and short. And if they don't respond, I leave them alone. It's one of those things. My philosophy is don't spam people because you can make them very upset. And so we would send the text. And then if they're interested, I would have a pre-designed text message with like, here's the deal metrics, here's the timeline, the horizon, what we're going to use the money for, who the partnership is, like the 4 Ps, I like to call it, the people, who's running the show, the property itself or the project, what is the deal? Tell me about the deal. And then the projections. So how much money am I going to make? How long is it going to be tied up? And then the plan. How are you going to achieve all of this? Considering the property, considering the team, and the property. I'm sorry, the projections. Like how do you intend to achieve those projections? So everything that we've designed from the email.
I'm going to jump in for a second here, Brandon.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So those are 4 separate text messages that are going out automatically. Is that correct?
Not necessarily. It's just the framework from which we build all of our text messages. All of the templates and all the email templates are designed to address each of those things. And then that way the questions are answered, like 90% of the investors' questions are answered ahead of time. And then that way you're not explaining yourself. Go ahead.
No, that makes sense. I'm just thinking that must be a really long text message. Like each one of those.
It's not bad.
No,
it's not bad. Yeah, no, we fit it into maybe 2 segments of a text message. So like, it's like, we intentionally, and it's been through many refinements and tests, and we've done different things, and it's been tested across millions of dollars of different capital raises. Is it the best? I don't know. Probably not. Maybe somebody has something better, but it's.
I don't think. I doubt if they do. It just seems like that would be a pretty big block of text to be getting. Email wise, that makes sense, but text message, but it works. So proof's in the pudding.
And we don't send it unless people ask for it. That's the big thing. Yeah.
Okay, cool. And a lot of that is automated, or is that a lot of personal replying back and that, or a combination?
No, we've actually built out the automations, the templates, and everything inside of Smart Syndicator. So literally all you do is you build out your list and then you push go when you're ready to start sending text. And then we'll send them in batches of say 20 or 30 an hour. So that it's manageable. You're not getting like 1,000 responses and trying to answer them all.
Right.
And then you work through, and then now we built out the pipeline in Smart Syndicator to where you can prioritize people who are hotter, because it'll automatically bump them over if they start responding, they start requesting more details. Then here's the 10%, here's the sliver of my database that I need to really focus on. And that was a game changer for me, to be able to stop diffusing myself across the entire database and working with the people that want to hear from me.
Really smart. Brandon, I'm a visual kind of guy, so I understand what you're saying, but would it be possible for you to kind of maybe show us behind the scenes what this actually kind of looks like? Let me make you a co-host, and that way maybe you can take us for a little walkthrough of how the platform works. If you're listening to this on Apple Podcasts or whatnot, you can go over to our YouTube channel and watch the video version of this, so you can see exactly what Brandon is doing here. And again, the reason I think this is so powerful is because most of us absolutely suck at follow-up with our investors, and it's always kind of a mad rush at the end. It's, to me, it from what I've seen, Brandon's service kind of helps with both. It helps with the ongoing communication with your investor list or your prospect list. And then once you've got a deal, it really helps you find the hot leads who are really interested in it. And like Brandon was saying, laser focus on them. All right, perfect. So here we are.
Mhm.
This is inside your Smart Syndicator. And again, this is all
Yep.
built out over on top of Go High Level, correct?
Correct.
All right.
So, and that is an approach that some people take, is that they maybe work with us for 6 months or a year, and then they're like, okay, I'm ready to go and take my training wheels off, and I don't need you anymore. And so they just go off and they sign up for their own Go High Level and then use, because they don't need our support anymore. And we've had people go that route. But if for the vast majority of people who they're not super comfortable with Go High Level yet, or they don't want to build this stuff out, or if they want to customize something, they don't know how to do it and they need help, then they reach out to our team. We support people via email and via a weekly mastermind call.
Okay.
I also call it like a tech office hours, where people can come in and ask questions, get help with implementation, that sort of thing. But
Okay, well, let's pretend I'm a brand new client of yours. I'm a capital raiser. I'm an operator. I'm either syndicating or I've got a small fund. A lot of people seem to be going into the fund model these days.
right.
Either way, let's say, I've got a bit of a track record. I've got you tell me what's kind of the
Yeah.
typical. I've got a list
Yeah.
of 50 or 60 people who've invested with me in the past and a few hundred people that have shown some interest. What do I do when I start working with Smart Syndicator? Like, what's the first step?
Yeah. So we do schedule an initial onboarding call where we'll
Mhm.
help you process your list. If you've got spreadsheets somewhere else, if you've got your phone, you've got a phone dump, that sort of thing. We help you consolidate everything and then run it through a scrubbing service. So we help you remove all the bad emails, all the bad phone numbers, just to maximize your deliverability for both your texting and emailing. We do have a text that basically asks permission to send marketing materials, because you can't just blast people you don't know or who you haven't talked to in a very long time without obtaining permission to text. So you can do that either having that when people opt in, at the point of opt in to some type of lead magnet, you can say, hey, you're giving me permission to text you.
Yeah.
Or you can text them requesting permission. So like you don't.
So again,
And
so if
I'm
you're
not.
doing this data
Yeah.
dump initially, you've got your own list, so
Yeah.
you're getting stuff off your phone.
Right.
Then you guys help them tidy up their data, make sure it's all clean.
Correct.
And then the first step is let's send out a friendly little
Yeah.
initial text message to everybody that we got a
Right.
cell phone for and say, hey, so what does that message kind of look like? Because I'm thinking most people might opt out
Hey.
of that, or what does that
Yeah.
kind of look like?
So and it's fine because you only want to message people who want to hear from you. So
Right.
like it actually helps you clean up your list when people don't want to hear from you. But it's
Mhm.
like, hey, this is me, and I'm not an attorney, so don't just start blasting this stuff.
Yeah.
Run it through AI, talk to an attorney, bring yourself into compliance.
Yeah, because
But
it can be
hey,
very
yeah,
painful and experience and expensive experience if you don't.
yeah. And I'm not sure what the rules are in Canada, but in the US we have TCPA, and
Mhm.
you can get fined for stuff like that. I've actually never seen it happen, but I'm not going to be. I don't want
You don't
somebody
want
to
to
be
be
the
the
first
first.
one to be the one.
Exactly. All right. So what does that first kind of message look like? It's
Yeah,
Brandon. It's been a
it is,
while.
Brandon. It's been a while since we chatted. I'm seeing opportunity in the marketplace right now. Would it be okay if I sent you updates and marketing information?
from time
Something
to
to
time.
that effect.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
And
And
if
if
they
they say
say,
yes, it's game on. But if
uh,
it's no, just leave them alone. Or if
and
it's
if it's no
silence, leave them
response, it's
alone.
the same as a
Yeah.
no, I would imagine. Correct?
Maybe call them if you haven't talked to them in a while. Like, hey,
Yeah.
this is what I got. Same thing, just on a phone call. Catch up with them. Go ahead.
Right. So, Brandon, what's in your experience when you're bringing on every client's different, but a
Mhm.
typical new client, like what does that kind of look like once the smoke clears?
Mhm.
How many how many people do they typically have on their list when they get started with you?
Yeah, I would say roughly you could go between 20 and 30%. It varies, based
Mhm.
on your relationship and how warm those relationships were.
Right.
And the people that respond are far more likely to invest with you than those who don't. So
Right.
that's kind of a
Okay.
no-brainer.
So if you've
But
got 200
yeah.
people on your data dump, well, let's say you've got 1,000 people just to keep numbers easy. So 1,000 people on your data dump from your
Mhm.
email addresses, your phone, everything that you've
Mhm.
got. When the smoke clears, you've probably got 200 to 300 of them that have said,
Right.
yes, I'd like to hear from you.
Yeah.
Got it.
Exactly. And then, so you're cleaning, essentially, we help you through a cleaning process. So that's the first step. Scan it, clean it. We'll let you know who's on the do not call list, because we do scrub it against that. But it's it's up to you what you do with that. We don't force you to do one thing or the other with your list.
Got it.
So once you get through that cleaning process, we have a series of training videos, and then it basically walks them through, because Go High Level is this huge Swiss Army knife of tools. There's a million things you can do with it, but what we focus on is, here are like the 5 or 6 things you need to be doing with this. And
okay, so what are those 5 or 6 things?
Templates. And so we've built out the initial outreach. So we have an outreach for when they don't have a deal, and we have an outreach for when they do have a deal. This is for the conventional syndication process. We are developing a process for fund-to-fund managers who have an ongoing fund that they're raising all the time. But the way it's currently built out is for the one-off syndication, because that's kind of the most common thing right now. It's the most used model for raising capital for a real estate deal, is a one-off, particularly if they don't have this huge track record. They're doing really a track record is what's going to help you more with a fund-to-funds. A lot of folks start with the syndication, and some people never leave syndication because it's a great model that works for them.
Got it.
And,
okay. Yeah. So and in your experience, Brandon, because you've been doing this for quite a while, if you had your way, would it be getting people started with an immediate raise, or would it be getting people started with this and kind of communicating ahead of time prior to a raise?
So unfortunately, I often get the call when people are like, their hair is on fire and they're like trying to finish a quote.
I need $1 million yesterday. Yeah, I need to raise $3 billion yesterday. Yeah,
they don't stop at the gas station until the light turns on. Like, that's the same people.
Got it.
But yeah, I recommend following up. Prior to, obviously, it's when you warm people up before you need money, you don't want to just talk to people when you need money.
Right. So let's walk through that process then. Yeah. So when people are doing it properly and they don't have their hair on fire and they're reaching out to you, getting things set up in anticipation for the next raise,
right?
What does that kind of warm up process look like with Smart Syndicator?
So there's a text blast that goes out. It's actually kind of tied to that initial compliance text, because you're recognizing that there's opportunity in the marketplace. You're kind of letting them know what you do in a roundabout way, and they either respond or they don't. So that's kind of the part of the warm up process. It's also called reactivation, because people like you said, you hadn't talked to in 18 years or 12 years, and they knew a lot of folks want to hear it from you, and a lot of times people are surprised at the positive responses they get from people that they haven't talked to in a very long time.
Yeah.
And it's kind of cool to see, because you're reconnecting people.
Yeah.
So, but
all right. So that's a text
That's the initial process, the text. Yeah. There's also an email sequence that goes out. So we've got a predefined monthly newsletter that goes out.
Nice.
And it's about 90 to 95% complete. So it's already copywritten. You just need to go in there. Like, the users would need to go in there and modify some things. Tailor it to their company, tailor it to their experiences. Maybe they just went on a vacation, or maybe they just had a new kid, and they want to add that.
Do you want to show us what a typical newsletter kind of looks like?
Yeah, if I go into marketing and then emails, and then honestly, like, I wrote these, and this is kind of predates AI or predates the proliferation of AI.
Yeah.
So people can actually take these and then just kind of run them through their own AI. You can actually build an AI avatar of yourself the way you like to write, and just rewrite these things. You're not tied to using what we've created here. Right. But we've got wrong one. This is the one for raising for when you're under contract. You've got the sequence, and then you've got a sequence, the investor education series. Here's a couple of topics. So, like, how to mitigate risk when investing passively. You'll notice a lot of this is tailored to apartment buildings, because a lot of the syndication market is apartment investors, multifamily GPs. And so we've sequenced it. You have at least one a month. I would recommend at least 2 a month if you can swing that, but this will give you that baseline of like I'm at least doing the minimum of I'm sending out my monthly newsletter and people are hearing from me. I'm staying top of mind. But a note on this is that a lot of times emails end up in spam. And so with the way Go High Level is built, you can put your own custom domain in there. That's part of our onboarding process. We'll help you purchase a domain if you don't already have one for your company, and then set up a custom email server, a custom email domain, so that your domain can start to build a reputation. Because in the beginning, and even people with a highly seasoned domains, there's some of their stuff still goes into spam. So like I see people pulling their hair out, freaking out, like, why is some of my stuff still going to spam? There's no way around that. Like a percentage of it will always go, and there's nothing you can do about that.
And it's so maddening because even in Gmail, if you click, I want this in my primary thing, it's still they'll
still throw it in there for you. Like, dude. Totally. And there's just different things you could try to do to help, like have the proper DNS records, or warm up the email before sending like a bazillion emails out, send like a trickle amount over time to warm it up. So a lot of that's built into the way Go High Level is set up. But some of it's not. Like
that's probably why text message is so powerful for you as well, because there isn't a spam folder in text messages, right? Yeah. Yeah,
and we always say, it's with great power comes great responsibility. So with text, you just got to be super ginger and careful with it. like don't spam people with it, because and a big part of it, A2P registration with texting is just a huge pain in the butt. I've had situations where we had 8 times we submitted it to get it accepted. Like they're so nitpicky. Like you can do the exact same thing you just did to get it approved, and they'll still deny it. And I'm like,
I hear you, man. We have the same issue with sending clients as well. Yeah.
So, but we've done it like probably over 100 times at this point. It's just we know the game, and we'll go back and forth with them if we need to. Yeah. But that's part of the onboarding is we manage that process, so you don't have to, and we just need information like the EIN and all that. Go ahead.
So getting back to the initial warm-up sequence, so you've got the monthly newsletter. I see a whole bunch of other things in here. So like if people are doing it the way you recommend, so they send out that initial text message, they get their monthly newsletter going out, but I see a whole nurture sequence here. Is this for warming people up or once they've opted?
It's for warming people up, and staying top of mind.
So what do you recommend? Like once a day, once a week, once a month? How often do these emails go out, Brandon?
These would be monthly. So once a month.
Oh, so these are the newsletters.
If you can do more, then do more. I wouldn't do daily not for more than if you're going to do daily, do it for like a week just to get that
when
initial
you're promoting a
push
specific deal
of burn-in. It's called burn-in of that from a marketing standpoint. But I wouldn't do that continually. No, it's not really sustainable. It's
no, once a week would probably be good, and once a month, absolute minimum for sure. Okay, cool. So that's an example of the newsletters. What else do you recommend people do between deals? Do you have any other kind of campaigns that you recommend there?
So lead gen. So we have training on how to run Facebook ads to find prospective investors, as prospective LPs. We have that weekly call where it alternates between a coaching call and a technical office hours. So sometimes people have ideas they want to implement, and we'll answer their questions there. But Facebook ads, consolidating your existing database and getting that cleaned up and automated and sent, outreach. That's usually a lot for people to start with, to get the ball rolling and get things moving. Yeah. And then after that, it's the Facebook ads. It's hosting your own investor dinners, doing webinars. There's different things that we could help with, and from a technical standpoint.
Smart. Okay, so now let's take a look at. I've got a property under contract. Now it's time to start shaking the tree and raising some capital. What does that side of things look like with you guys?
Yeah. So what we do, on someone's first raise on the platform, I like to spend a little bit of one-on-one time with them. So we'll set aside an hour. I'll walk them through, here's the video training series. I'm going to give you a quick primer, but here's some more in-depth training on it. And then I'm gonna watch you send your first couple of campaigns so that we make sure it goes out correctly and cleanly. Because I've sent some weird stuff out before, like I've mixed up username and contact name before, and it sounded like I was talking to myself in a text message. I'm like, I just sent that to like 500 people, and I'm like, oh my goodness. Yeah. So like just preventing something like that, doing everything I can to prevent something like that from happening for you. That's what we do for that first raise.
So what does the raise promo typically look like? What's your process for that, Brandon?
So we touched on it earlier with the initial outreach of like, hey, I'm seeing a lot of opportunity. Now the text is more like, hey, I've got this deal under contract. Would you have any interest in exploring this with me?
Nice.
And then if a lot of times the answers are sure, send me the details, that sort of thing. Yeah. Then we have another text that goes out that gives them the primer. Cover those 4 P's real quick. Not too short, not too long. Like that's the way we like to keep things for the text messaging. And then if they're like, okay, cool, I like that, let's have a call. And it typically people want to talk to you over a Zoom call or over the phone before they're going to wire you $100,000. And then once they're done with that, we do have an email template that sends a link to your investor portal. Okay. So that is something that we are not, and I'm glad to bring that up here. Is we are not an investment portal. We don't handle DocuSign. We don't handle distributions, calculations, that sort of thing. We're strictly the front end marketing piece to get people in the door. That is strictly what we do. Once they're in the door, and they're like, yes, they thumbs up. Here's a soft commitment, and then they need to register in your investor portal. So like, there's a bunch out there. There's Syndication Pro, Cashflow Portal. There's Agora. There's a ton. So you just pick your favorite one, and then you're going to send your investors in there. That's where they're going to sign the PPM, the fund documents. They're going to receive their distributions. A lot of those platforms handle ACH, that sort of thing, to send out the distributions. Right. So that's kind of where our handoff is. We hand it off once they're ready. The handoff is there.
Perfect. Well, this has been great, Brandon. Thank you very much for walking us through that. You can stop sharing your screen if you like there. So if people are interested in connecting with you, finding out more, like, first of all, who's the ideal client for you and for Smart Syndicator these days?
Yeah, so the ideal client is either a syndicator that's got some seasoning, some experience behind them. So like an operator, maybe a multifamily operator or self-storage, people who have done some deals. They already kind of know how to raise capital and they've done it before. They just need a turbocharge now. Like their car is running and now they want to put a turbocharger in it. That's what we do. And then your fund managers, the people that are either basically same category. They've already an experienced operator, but now they want to go build a fund. Or they've already got a trusted network. They're already semi-successful as a business person elsewhere, and they want to start a fund because they're getting people left and right are asking them what to invest in, and they have this money and they need to deploy it. Those fund managers are a great fit as well.
Fantastic.
Another question that might be a good one is who's not a good fit?
Yeah, please.
Is just folks that I'd imagine it's very similar for you. Is just folks that are just brand new getting started. Like it's not really the best place to learn the real estate investing side and the capital raising side. Like there needs to be some training or some type of intermediary there to help you, because we don't teach people how to buy multifamily. Like I've done it before. I'm not qualified to be a teacher. I just know.
Yeah,
I know stuff about it. I know enough to be dangerous.
You're working with people that know what they're doing, helping them to do it better.
Correct. Like if your car needs to be running before we strap a turbocharger into it,
You have to have your driver's license first. Yeah, exactly. All right. Fantastic, Brandon. So if people want to find out more, where should they go? What should they do?
Yeah, smartsyndicator.com, and then go ahead and book a demo, and we'll get you taken care of.
Sounds good. Hey, Brandon, thanks so much for walking us through a little bit of how this works. I'm sure a one-on-one demo will be very, very complete for people to get a much better idea of how this could apply for them in their particular situation. Fantastic. Hey, Brandon, thanks so much for being on the call.
Hey, not a problem, Dave. Thank you.
All right, everybody, thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you on the next one.
Thanks for listening to the Property Profits Podcast. If you'd like to be a guest on the show, apply at daveinterviews.com.